A monk and the master found some gold coins in the forest, and he wanted to give it to someone. That is the journey we discussed about conventional methods to connect, to contribute, and celebrate. We discussed about it, and I think you all are aware. So when the master found the gold coins, he wanted to apply the conventional method. So he was in a village. A teacher was passing by. He wanted to give gold coins to the teacher. In fact, he wanted to give it to the poorest of the poor. So the master asked the teacher, "Do you have enough to take care of your life?" He said, "Yes, I have enough to take care of my life. Whatever I'm getting it, I don't want to be number one." Sam, how are you? Good. So master said, "Okay, when you have enough to care." So he did not give those coins. He found a fisherman. Where are you going to catch fish to earn to feed the family? Are you happy with your work? Yes, I'm very happy with my work. What I'm doing, I know I will catch the fish and I will make my family both ends meet. So then he found the king on the way. He stopped the king. "Where are you going, king?" "I want to win over the country. I'm going to invade a country." Monk said many people would be killed. There will be a chaos. But my journey is to expand my kingdom. I have to win over. Master gave all the gold coins to the king. "I found you are the poorest of the poor. By harming someone, by being jealous of someone, by having a hatred against someone, you want to be in peace and happiness. That is not possible. That is what the impurities of the mind is. That is what is the ignorance. So, ignorance causes the impurity, and the impurities makes me feel I am the poor." The entire last 10 or 15 sessions, this is the summary. So what is the secret behind to understand this parable? There is no objective solution to the subjective problem. Subjective problem, feeling of insecurity, and frustration, a sense of stress, struggle, suffering inside. It is a subjective problem. There is no objective solution. Once we understand this, and that understanding results in conviction in my intellect, the life changes. As long as we are searching the objective solutions of my subjective problems. What are the subjective problems? My anxiety, my fear, my insecurity. Nobody loves me. Why should anyone love you? Why don't you find love within yourself? I am alone. Everyone comes alone on this earth. Everyone comes. Did I come with my honey? Everyone comes in. So we carry the burden of wrong notions every day in our life. How to know if I have the enemies of the mind and the impurities are present? Never forget that listening and learning results into detachment, detachment results into dispassion, dispassion results into steadiness of the mind, steadiness of the mind results into absorption into meditation, absorption into meditation results into awakening. Anytime, anywhere, in any situation, in any relationship, first thing for a wise man, Master discussed about who is wise and who is foolish. Of a wise man is to follow this sequence, remember, recall. What to recall? Such a simple way that, what principle can be applied here in this situation? I am experiencing the fear, frustration, and stress and struggle in my life. I can tell you, whatever the situation you are in, within seconds you'll have a smile. Oh, I will solve this problem. And this might have been happening to you. And if that is happening to you, it means we have become a seeker at a higher level. So without having those bases that we discussed in detail, we cannot succeed in self-inquiry. But there are rare people. I discussed about Maharshi Raman, one of the greatest masters, who said self-inquiry is to keep attention on who is that I in me, in every situation, in every relationship, in every condition, in every action, thought, speech. So as we go on continuing this self-inquiry, that I will dissolve, what will remain? Only the pure awareness. That is what we are searching for. But why this I will not remain? I is false. But how the I has built its castle on the basis of impurities. So what are those impurities? You have three categories: likes and dislikes, desire. If I add an adjective, binding desire, followed by anger and hesitation or stress, followed by the repeat desire, that is the greed. So this is the trio. And third is ego and the selfishness. Ego is the commander in chief. Or you can add another pair, sorrow and happiness. Likes, dislikes, sorrow and happiness. No worries, we will dig deep into what exactly is the likes and dislikes, what is the origin in our mind of the likes and dislikes, and how to deal with it. Same way we will also go, what do you mean, how to define that desire, and how the desire results into the stress. I desire for peace and happiness, and it results into stress and suffering. And how mind follows the repeat desire. Why? So that before we go for the self-inquiry, we will dig deep inside. What, why, how, where, and when of likes and dislikes, binding desire, anger, hesitation, repeat desire, and that is shaping our life. If you see that, our whole life, 24 hours, is shaped by the likes and dislikes and all these impurities of the mind. That is why we continue to gather, accumulate the impurities every day, and we continue to live in stress and suffering. Our personality, our attitude, our behavior changes in our life. And we start blaming who are near and dear ones, so that we could stop these blame and complain game. We should stop this blame and complain game. I'm reversing the last 10 or 15 sessions, so that we can reverse this blame and complain game. We have to understand those steps. Those steps. What are those steps? What we are doing? Self-discovery. So then we recognize that there are two I. One is the real I and other is the false I. It is very easy to recognize the false I. It is very clear at present we don't know the real I. So let us start the journey from recognizing the false I. How to recognize the false I? I get obsessed, I have fear, security, impurities, anxiety, duality, conflict, jealousy, hatred, sorrow, happiness. I'm surrounded by that. My life is an autopilot. I'm not able to bring about a change in my behavior and attitude. False I. That is what the Commander-in-Chief is. Commander-in-Chief is not to fight with someone and someone says that, look at this guy who has a big ego. No, I have to dig deep inside myself to recognize. So, okay, I have been recognizing. So, how to know the real self? First recognition is the false I. Then we always keep in mind that real I is all pervading, it is always present. Almost, I would say, 36, 37 years when I and one of my friend, we both passed the bachelor's from Delhi University. And last week, anyhow, he was searching my name and he found me, and then we fixed the time we're talking about it. Pay attention. So when we were college mate, I had long hairs on. You can very well vision. I had black hairs. Now tell me how he recognized me and how I recognized him. What is that criteria? Tell me. The reference was only the name. And he was saying, your voice has changed, Oh, you have a long beard in those days. Huh? You have a very small black beard, and we both were laughing. But I was more aware that how he recognized me. Did he recognize me with my form and the shape at this time as compared to that 30, 40 years ago? No. Pay attention. This body is the false. So the false acts as a reference point to recognize who we are. So it means we never destroy the false. We simply recognize it as a false. Name and the form and the shape. And we were talking, how your face has changed. And I was looking, you see that? What he said that your face has changed. Behind that changing face, he recognized me and I recognized him. Where is the meaning? Message, real self is always present. He recognized that I, who I was. He did not recognize that, you have changed. that real self is always present behind the false self. Fan is running. Behind that, it is electricity. I don't see the electricity. But I know the electricity indirectly through the mind. So in order to know that real self indirectly through the mind, I have to undergo this process that I have to purify the mind. I have to recognize what are the impurities of the mind. So the master says, real self is all pervading, it is pure consciousness, it is of the nature of peace and happiness. Find out that one common factor which is present all the time in every situation. It is timeless, it is spaceless. Again, I remember when I was counseling, so I have to dig deep inside if one person is suffering from depression. We normally used to ask, how many times you were depressed last week, what were the symptoms. We return again and again to the same stuff. And what we are talking in Eastern wisdom, do you live in peace last week? See the big difference between the two approaches. Why? Because we are looking for who we are. We are not looking for how many times, if we answer the question, how many times we were upset last week, it is because the impurities has taken over. So I have to be more mindful. I have not to put my life on autopilot. Find out if someone meets you after long years, and maintain your awareness how that guy or girl recognizes you. It is one common factor, that is our true nature. So the impurities, those impurities are also known as the defects of the mind. Then the master here points out that only the good action in the society, good action with your relations, good actions in the society is a part of religious discipline, do's and don'ts. It will not help you much unless you change from where the action comes. Did you get it? Otherwise, what will happen? And especially it happens in relationship. Honey, I have been so kind to you, but with a crazy mind inside. People use incomplete sentence. Do you see that? I am full of hatred inside, but I have been very kind to you and still you didn't listen to me, and that is why. You can complete the sentence. So that garbage inside can only be removed by the self-inquiry. Any action, any effort, any practice will not help you. Do you see the conventional method? And do you see the best method is the self-inquiry? Understand clearly. I have been so kind of you. I paid you for everything. You are not earning. And still I sacrificed my life. Don't sacrifice. Sacrifice somewhere else. The idea of being sacrificed is a part of your ego, commander-in-chief. We have to hammer our mind again and again so that the impurities are gone, and then you will see good karma alone is not enough. It is insufficient. Internally, it is already building up the ego. I have done so much to you. You have done nothing. That is why I am parting with you. Because you want a relationship based on the impurities of the mind. Did you get it? I'm just returning again and again. Anytime I'm into anxiety, anytime I'm a little bit frustrated, anytime, in any location, remember, recall, and recognize it is I have not applied the conventional methods fully. I need to dig inside myself first. So once we learn, as we have started learning, what exactly is the self-inquiry, this is the indirect approach to what Maharishi Raman says, that I am paying attention to that I-ness from where I think, speak, and act, to see if that I is carried away by the impurities of the mind. The moment it is carried away by the impurities of the mind, that I is going to become stronger and stronger. I will forget the conventional method. I'll forget about the self-inquiries. That is why Maharishi Raman, the master, says, I become aware, I am aware, I am a speaker at this time. I am aware. You are a listener. That I is also aware that you are a listener. Pay attention. So he says the time comes, this I-ness dissolves by itself. What is left? Pure awareness, pure consciousness. What is this pure consciousness? That is the real self. That is my real nature. It is always present, behind the mind, behind the I, behind the impurities, behind my anxiety, behind my anger, behind my frustration, behind my pleasure, behind the peace, behind happiness, behind love, behind wisdom. That is the importance of purity of the mind, is absolutely essential to start the journey of the self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is the best means, my friend. I told you that once when we continue the journey, we will pick up the best and the ultimate text and the teaching. That is the Gita. Gita is just an Eastern psychology. It's a summary of all the 3,000 texts. It tells us how to live in, think and speak and act in that state of highest consciousness. Never forget. So a reminder works every day in daily life. What is that reminder? Do you remember? Invoke the blessing. Create an auspiciousness by thought, by speech, and by action. In religion, that invoking the auspiciousness in organized religion, in all organized religion, with no exception, is known as the prayer. We understand it very clear. I remember that my nature is peace and happiness. Hence, I have to follow that real self in my thought, speech, and action today, in all the situations, in all the relations. You need not to go to any religious places to offer a prayer to confess your sins. We commit sins every day. You go and confess the sins, and the next day you again accumulate lot of sins. How many days you are going to confess your sins? The whole life will pass. So Eastern wisdom gives a different perspective to it. Instead of committing a sin that is caused by impurities. How simple it is to understand. So I will prevent committing sins rather than confessing the sins. Do you understand that? With due respect to all the religions, all religions are mine, so I'm not criticizing everyone. It's not a criticism discussion. Remembering and recalling. We have a wonderful prayer that God, everything belongs to you. Today I said, everything belongs to you. Right? Next day, again I say, everything belongs to you. What extra you have accumulated today so that you are saying to the God, today also everything belongs to you? What kind of a prayer it is? Web, sab kuch tera. No, but I'm scared of God. If I don't say, then I will lose money. You don't lose money. I put my life on autopilot. Terry is also this. Any prayer. One message is already there. Everything belongs to you, God. So today I said, God, everything belongs to you. And tomorrow, the same prayer. Is God full? Approach the life with wisdom or foolishness. We have already discussed many a time. So what happens? The time comes when your intellect demands an answer from you. And what is the question? Am I worthy of suffering? You have digested and assimilated all these principles. You have applied the conventional methods into your daily life. You have started this self-inquiry. Your intellect declares, I am not at all worthy of suffering. Whatever is the situation outside. Are you getting it? Whatever the situation, whatever the relations outside. How much mind is reacting? There is a conviction inside that says, I am not worthy of suffering. You may have $1 million. I may have $1,000. So whether $1,000 or $1 million causes stress and suffering for me and causing happiness for you? Answer is no. So that conviction, I gave that example of my friend who works in Mountain View, who is an engineer, and he said, oh, we are so close. So the way he recognized me, I recognized when everything outside have changed the situation. My perception about that fellow, his perception about me has changed. But one thing that never changed, that is why he says, you are the same. And I said, you are the same. Who is that? Are you getting it? Who is that? What it means? You all are wonderful people. Why? Because you are the real self. Real self is full of peace and happiness. Do I have that conviction in the intellect that is being expressed in thought, speech, and action? Not only about everyone, but about myself. What happens? I'm not worthy of suffering. That proves that I am not worthy of suffering. Having said that, now go back to what Maharshi Raman, this master, says. Self-inquiry means contemplation, reflection, and being aware by paying a constant attention to the inner awareness of I. Who is this I within? That is the recommendation, that is the suggestion, that is the guide, that is the teaching of Maharshi Raman. Or you can say, who am I? He said, maintaining that awareness from the time we wake up until we fall into sleep. So what that means? It's a conscious living. No, I live consciously, otherwise, I am very much aware of my boss when he becomes crazy. So you did not apply the conventional method. Do you see how logically it fits? All these principles easily fit. How dare you? Before I say how dare you, let me ask, who is this I who uses this sentence? One guy, now he is in a private lesson, so he always noted all the things. So he said, I will do alternate session on alternate days. So after 3 days, then he said, why don't you send me a recording? I will listen to it. So I sent the recording 3 days ago, and I did not get a response. What is the message? This journey cannot be done out of excitement. Excitement is one sense of impurity. So, some self-inquiry, that is what we are discussing. You see that self-inquiry must be founded on the previous steps. So when all the steps are being applied in our daily life, then the self-inquiry works. Before that, we will fail and frustrate, but if we are a seeker, we keep on doing it. The time comes. Self-inquiry means that you listen and learn from a teacher, then you contemplate and reflect, you remove the garbage, the real self presents itself in our daily life, and we start living in peace and happiness. That is one way to say that is what the awakening and realization is. Close your eyes, my friends. I believe you all are listening to me correctly. I'm a little more mindful of my friend computer. So eyes are closed, position of the body, how fast we are settled in the comfort. Sometimes the mind cheats you. You are feeling sleepy, then it appears that I am very comfortable. Come on. So you are mindful. No struggle in keeping the body in the state of being comfortable. Struggle means where I recognize the struggle in the mind. So mind is not fully settled. That is why I feel unease. But still we will become aware of the entire body from the top of the head to the toes. Awareness, physical awareness, I believe you have already understood. It becomes a very fast process, not out of excitement, out of understanding. So awareness of the body means the physical awareness Then we rise in awareness, what I used to say, and what every teacher has to say: move the mind within and experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is rise in, but why it is rise in awareness? Now I can perceive subtle. What is subtle? Sensation, comfort is subtler than the physical part. And that is what the rise in awareness is. Modern psychology cannot define it like this. And then we are aware of the space, and the space is awareness, and awareness is space. But in that space, which is awareness, lane one, unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. Simultaneously. It's a simultaneous. It is not step by step. The moment I say step by step approach, then it becomes a practice. But the first two steps are a non-practice. Lane one, you are aware, unwanted, unwelcome thought. They will keep coming. But you are in a lane two, you are aware. Lane two is what? Intellect and the knowledge. What is knowledge? It is an understanding. What is understanding? It is an awareness. No, I did not understand. You are an observer of the unwanted, unwelcome thought. That is what the intellect is. You are a dispassionate observer. You have a conviction. What it results into? Calmness, peace. That is the summary of the today's talk. Okay, but we will not leave the journey to purify the mind. It takes time, I tell you. So we have a two approach: mantra approach to create an auspicious moment, and the breathing approach. We'll follow other approaches also later. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. You are also saying mentally, Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Then we will go how to follow that, creating an auspiciousness through the mantra. We chant the mantra mentally, then we look into the meaning, let everyone be happy, and then we go into the knowledge. Knowledge demands contemplation and reflection. How this smartwatch works? Meaning, what is this smartwatch? But how it works? It demands contemplation and reflection. Same approach. It's not a big deal. So why I am seeking happiness for everyone? Because that is a common desire of all the living species, including the human being. Now here is the catch comes. There you can apply the conventional, you recognize the lack of application of the conventional method. What is that? Why I am seeking peace for everyone? I cannot bless everyone. I did not apply the conventional method. So when I apply the conventional method, your mind will never forget. What did never forget? Happiness is my essential nature. So the happiness is the essential nature of every living species. We all are seeking happiness. In the journey of the life, I learnt Eastern wisdom, which declares happiness is within me. Even if my honey is getting upset and reacting, he is not learning or she is not learning Eastern wisdom. So what to do? What to respond? Apply conventional method. Why? I remain calm. I know, my friend, I missed hundreds of times. So what is the solution of? Do you remember? 5 factors: kaka chesta, bako dhyanam, effort like a crow. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. Sarvesham shantir bhavatu. let there be peace for everyone. So it appears as if I'm seeking peace for everyone, but the fact is that I'm recognizing peace is the essential nature of every living species on this earth planet. We're not talking of aliens. But we treat near and dear ones as the aliens. That is the impurity of the mind. That is why I use the word aliens. I'm just giving you many analogy and parables. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Let everyone be complete in oneself. You know, you will be surprised, this phrase relates to the trio impurities, the binding desire, anger, hesitation, and the repeat desire that is known as greed. We are going to discuss. I'm just giving you a reference. At present, you might be thinking how they are related. They are intimately related. If I feel the sense of completeness in myself, no desire can force me, can create an obsession, reaction, duality, conflict. Is that so? Yes. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam. Let there be an auspiciousness for all. So we are replacing the unwanted, unwelcome thoughts. That is one approach of the mantra. We are settling the mind with a state of the purity. Second approach, second benefit. Third is that we are creating an auspicious moment every day in our life. Normally there are masters explain the 10 different benefits. That I will pick up each one after the other. And now is the time to purify the mind, that you are not excited. You look inside the head. Where you look inside the head, in the space, you are dropping Om Shanti today. Om Shanti. Om is the real self. Shanti is the peace. Real self expressed in peace. Not the false self expressed in anxiety. Keep on doing it, and now is the time to start breathing. Quick, short, and gentle breathing through the nostrils into the chest. Expansion and contraction of the chest. Continue. Continue. Continue, my friends. Continue. 3 minutes. We are still on 3 minutes. For how long? Om Shanti continues, steadiness of the body continues, and from nowhere the mind creates a reaction. No, I cannot do it for long, and you insist. Endurance. You have heard the story of a crow putting the pebble into the beaker, into the jar to drink the water. And it is all comes from the knowledge, my friend. It comes from the awareness. The mind says, I cannot do it, and the impurities of the mind takes over. It gives you 1,000,000 reasons why I cannot do it, and you insist and persist consciously. and you can do it. You have been doing it. On a given day, I know you cannot do it. That is because allow the mind to settle into that knowledge, my friend. That is my plea to you all. And stop it, do nothing. What you do again? Knowledge, you are searching that I. I'm practically putting you into the mode of the self inquiry. Now that I has a variety of experiences that you recognize, that you accept. Oh, yes. I never thought of it. No, keep on doing Om Shanti and now start with the belly breathing. It's a longer breath into the belly. So that I is aware of belly breathing, change in the experiences, steadiness in the body, Om Shanti. And the time comes, this I drops, dissolves. It is the consciousness basically taking care of each and every step. What do you mean? You replace false I need not to say anything. No, instructions are very well received by you all. And stop it, do nothing. Why we do nothing? Did you recognize it? We are looking at that I awareness, where it is. So it recognizes and accepts and feels the changes. Oh, that's okay. If I say we keep an eye on that I, we keep our physical eyes or mental awareness on that I. Just a phrase to understand. So now the third type, the breathing, we keep on doing the Om Shanti, and now we combine the breathing both into the belly and the chest, expands while inhalation, contracts while exhalation. But Om Shanti continues, steadiness of the body continues. That eye recognizes the expansion of the belly and the rib cage. It recognizes the squeezing of the belly and the rib cage while exhaling Om Shanti. It recognizes Om Shanti. It recognizes the steadiness of the body. When I experience it, when I recognize there must be an I. It's a natural way of keeping your awareness on the I, my friends. Please continue. Now leave this, do nothing. Do nothing is, that's why I've been saying do nothing, recognize, accept the changes, cognition, plus the recognition of the same I. So even in so-called practice, you are in a mode of self-inquiry, according to the teaching of. And now, triangle deep inside the cave of your heart. Again, pointed awareness. Why I said pointed awareness? Because of the same I. I followed the journey indirectly. And when we understand the self-inquiry, it will be a direct approach. So moving the mind on the side, dropping Om Shanti, awareness of the side, clockwise and anti-clockwise movement on the triangle, equilateral triangle, pointing upward. When you find you are able to sync all the three-pointed awareness, you will see I is lost. That is the moment. That is why I used to say, and silently, mentally pushing the mind deep inside, which has already lost the I-ness, dropping Shanti, getting absorbed. So when you see you have a moment of this self absorption with awareness, do nothing. But if you find the mind returns to its same repeated thoughts, feelings, and emotions, what you do? You return again, sink. Do you see how easy the journey is, my friends? And now leave this, go to the japa, Om Shanti, reminding you with the mind's eye, with the mind's tongue, with the mind's touch, with the mind's ear. That is a sure indication when the energy pattern changes on those 16 points of the fingers. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences, and bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. We'll take up David and Jerry. How are you?
Um, Thank you, by the way. That was very good. I enjoyed your experience you had with your old classmate. Um, And so for me, the meditation was really focused on my true self, and I was reflecting on moments in my childhood where they just popped up, where I felt I was, you know, being an observer, which I found very fascinating. So that was great. And then doing the triangle was interesting because normally I focus on the line between the 2 points of the triangle. This time I focused on the 2 points. So these 2 points, these 2 points, these 2 points, rather than the line. And I don't know what that means. I just thought it was kind of interesting. So
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. For paying attention to the 2 points definitely creates a line. 2 points means one line. So that's a little subtler. And rightly, I appreciate you absorbed that story, the real life story that I met my friend. Can I meet everyone recognizing I am meeting the same guy whom I met first, whether it's a near or the dear ones? Even we meet our honey every day. If the body changes, the mind changes. But one thing that never changes, which we refer to as honey. Now, exceptions are there. So, how are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you.
For me, the meditation, the I became another instrument.
Yeah,
So it was consciousness plus I, and that just became super clear.
it's
So
a
if it, yeah,
it's a beautiful way to say it. Why I say it's a beautiful? That false I is also an instrument. We don't claim, we claim that it is the real I. That's a wonderful point. Do you see that? Do you all see that? That I, which is an object of perception, the real I cannot be an object of perception. Oh, we will talk in detail about it. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Very interesting meditation today for me. I was drawn into meditation as you were talking.
Yeah,
And then there was, and what was happening is that the space was, and it kept expanding,
yeah,
and I was very settled into it. In fact, I was so settled into it that a split thought did pop into my head that says, "Am I sleeping?" And I realized I really wasn't. I was just absorbed into this space. And every transition as you took us through meditation, I heard the first verse of the Sarve Sham, and it's as if the space started to shrink. And so I immediately said, okay, I see what's going on. And is this me identifying more as the individual rather than the infinite space? And then all of a sudden, the space started to expand again, and I felt like I was going into that sleeping state, which I really wasn't sleeping. And then you transition to the breathing, and when I heard the first part of the breathing, the space shrunk. I heard what you were saying, and then that space expanded. In short, I didn't hear the other two breathing. I didn't, we went to the triangle. I heard that we went to the triangle. Then that all disappeared as the space continued to expand. So I had this expansion and contraction the entire time. And then it was very difficult coming out.
very difficult. That definitely is a success. Let us remind the principle desire is the impurity of the prana, that we say the life force. Desire is the impurity of the prana where it is present in the mind. So, the moment that impurity loses its hold, we have a beautiful experience as if the space is expanding. It is something like the balloon is just a mind and the space inside the balloon is expanding. So, what happens to the mind? that I-ness. Mind keeps that I-ness lost. It's a beautiful, wonderful explanation and also your experience. Thank you, Stephen. How are you, Terry?
I had a feeling of infinite space
Good.
and just observing the physical processes inside me with dispassion,
Good.
and I didn't see the triangle.
It's okay.
Just went in the shape, kind of like from point to point, and I saw the triangle as similar to the two hands
Good.
and this point.
Ah, 2 hand and 1 point. I could see that.
Yeah.
Terry, you are the same when I first met you. You took me to your office, to the New York's that skyrise building. Body has changed.
Yeah.
Mind has changed.
Very much so.
To recognize that is what is. Do you see that? That's why I narrated the story of meeting virtually my friend. He did not recognize I as a me based on my face and long beard. That you are still there. How are you, Sam?
Good. Appreciated the lesson today and just felt extremely absorbed in the meditation. It was very easy and it was great.
You are also the same, Sam.
Thank you.
Do you recognize what I mean to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will not go deeper. How are you, Samir?
So after breathing, I was totally aware, totally absorbed. Actually, one thought struck into my mind that I remembered that you told me once, "Na naso na phaso,"
Huh?
means "na naso na phaso."
Yeah.
It was absorbed into my mind, and I was just looking at everything within. Means I was just aware as if I am looking in mirror or something totally different from me, sir.
Yeah.
It was peaceful.
It's a wonderful. My master used to say, neither run away from any situation or a mental state, nor get obsessed about it. So you are running away, that same I, false I, is working. You are obsessed, the same false I is working. So there is a kind of a proverb in Hindi, that is what he narrated. My master used to say. So he recalled that. The moment you recall, you live in that moment, the false I dissolves. Beautiful. How are you? Vaibhav. We have one more,
Thank you, sir. I'm good.
Oh,
Very free in the mind, very calm.
very calm. Beautiful, remain calm. Christina, how are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for the teaching. I noticed almost like this veil slowly lifting, because in the beginning I had a very difficult time with just settling, and I found myself moving up. And so as we progressed, I noticed a calmness and peace come over me.
That's really good. This is the real spirituality. And you are going out of the country to find spirituality. No, no, I'm just. that, so that point of the struggle, again, we keep our focus is done by the commander in chief with its siblings and the children. You recognize and keep on doing it. We find the success. That is what you did. How are you, Anastasia?
Thank you. I'm good. Today my meditation was unusual because I had these problems with connection and I fell out of the group and then I understood that I'm out, so I mm, went out of meditation, came back to the group, and I've noticed that the time to turn back to meditation it was harder to get out of meditation than to step in, and my mind was excited to get to come back and step out. It was upset. Yes, but still, I some steps I did maybe a little bit longer, but still I managed to do meditation. Thank you.
You raised a wonderful point, and we will all will have the same experience that I'm bringing it out. Did you notice what she says, that she internet went off, and once she returned, her mind got more absorbed into the meditation? What it means, that is a specific attitude of the mind. Normally, our attitude of the mind is to go back and start remembering the past during that brief period. So that awareness is very important. Practices will normally follow. We can do practice anytime, but that attitude comes by following these steps. Everyone is done. That is all. Thank you very much. We will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone.